All right. So our question is, how do we know what the Earth's core is made out of? And the answer is a three-part answer. And these three parts kind of work together in order to give us the understanding that we have. And the first part of this answer is about the materials that the Earth is made out of. So largely the Earth is made out of aluminum, silicon, oxygen, and iron. And because we know that, and we know that the denser materials are going to sink to the bottom of the Earth when it's formed, it's our best guess with that information that, in fact, the core would be made of largely iron, as well as some of those other heavy elements like gold and platinum and nickel. And so because of that constituency of what the Earth is made out of, we gather that the center will also be made out of iron because it's heavier and will form and move to the center. The second and biggest reason has to do with, again, that density factor. And the density of the Earth is something that we know. And we know the density of the Earth because of our gravitational field and the gravitational pull that we have on other objects. And when we look at the Earth's crust and the Earth's surface, the rocks and the other materials that make it up, what we find is that it's not dense enough. And so we deduce that therefore the center must be made out of a denser material. And that density mathematically works out to be iron. If the core were made up of primarily iron and some other dense materials, the size that it is in comparison to the rest of the Earth, it works out making the Earth the right density to have that gravitational field that it does. In turn, it's that density that helps us with our final analysis. And this is one that I think you guys have talked about some, and that's through seismic waves. And we get our seismic waves, right, anytime that there's an earthquake or a volcano erupts, and even when humans detonate nuclear warheads, that can cause seismic waves to form. And we've found out the way to watch and to track these waves. And what we've noticed over the years about these waves is that when they reach the center, the core, they behave differently than they do through the rest of the mantle and the crust. And when they hit that outer core, they start to slow down. Those are the primary waves that do that. Then the shear waves, they actually disappear and then reappear again in the center along with those compressional waves. And the way that both of these two waves move through both that liquid outer core and solid inner core is the way that we would expect them to move through something that is largely made out of iron. And those three ideas are what make it our belief, our thought that it is in fact an iron core at the center of the Earth. Could it be a giant hamster running around in a ball that creates the spin and everything else? Sure, in my book, but it seems unlikely. The fact that we know what the Earth's general materials are and how iron would react out of those in sinking to the core, the fact that we know what the Earth's density is, and iron would give us the density that we desire to find. And then finally, the way that those seismic waves, both the shear and the compressional waves, move through the core, lead us to identify the core as being made up of iron. I hope that answers your guys' questions, and thank you for asking them.